Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. How y'all doing? Guess where I'm at? Guess. 9107. Roosters Creek. Happy Friday. Another day, another dollar. Hope you'll have a good weekend. Whatever it is y'all happen to be doing. So yeah. What y'all got going on? Been going over the United States Code. Epstein related stuff. And like I keep mentioning, there's obviously a lot of rabbit holes to go down. But I'm still I'm right in the middle of I'm not at a good stopping point, so I can make a video. So I don't really have Epstein. This it is around 7:30 a.m. This is the fourth car since starting this video. Third or fourth, maybe fifth. I'm not a public figure and celebrity. It's not about making money. Okay? It's not what it's about. Epstein related activities, which is a lot of use of the court, a lot of legal proceedings going on. Like I said, I'm kind of in the middle. I know it's Friday. I don't know how I got to this making videos on Fridays now, and but here we are. It's Friday. I'm making a minimum weekly video. I try to do that. Tarot card video and minimum one weekly chit chat video via YouTube, because for some reason I can't post photos or videos on X for some reason. But I'm entirely not surprised about it. Maybe if I was not at 9107, I would be a little bit more wondering what's going on than I am right now. Currently cannot post photos and videos on X. Every time I click the little icon that says for the gallery, right? And then you get to choose which videos and photos you post on the gallery. Every time I click that icon, it goes back down. Usually you click the icon and then what pops up is your gallery of what other photos and videos you can post. I click the icon, it goes down. So no, you get a text tweet from X. It's been a while for that. I'm thinking it might be a little bit semi-permanent. I think the hair color, when you get those hair colors, I think they might be advertised as semi-permanent. I don't know. Maybe it depends what color you get. Anyway, it's kind of humid out here today. But anyway, was that the fifth car? Bit scattered this morning here at 9107. Like I said, I'm right in the middle of a really good part of my Epstein research. I posted on Instagram yesterday this Southern District of New York, this United States District Judge wrote an order and opinion, I think is what it was called. NBC asked to unseal the names of you see, I'm not at a good place. I should have just brought the piece of paper over it. I'm just gonna stop there because I'm just gonna stop there because I need to do. I need to. I'm like I said, I'm right in the middle of my research. Still doing Epstein stuff. He's a financier. Okay. But you know, now that I'm on it and I said what I said, I'll just conclude it with this in that order and opinion for the denial of the unsealing of the names of individual 1 and individual 2. You know, that happened in, I think, September 2025, maybe August. This order and opinion, individual 1 and individual 2. I'm not too sure where that's from because in the unsealed indictment of 2019, they reference employer 1 and employer 2, and then specifically in quotations, it makes me think it's like Jane Doe, but not Jane Doe obviously, but you know, something that's like kind of official. The quotations was what that means. I don't know. And they said individual 1, individual 2 in quotations. So there, in the unsealed indictment of 2019, there was no talk of an individual 1 and individual 2. There was an employee 1 and an employee 2. I think maybe a 3 and 4, I don't know. And then there was talk about victims and victim recruiters, and there was, I think, maybe victim 1, victim 2, but they weren't in quotations. But anyway, so I'm a little bit confused about who these individuals are, because in the order and opinion of not revealing their identities there's this one quote that I really wish I remember, so I can tell y'all right now. Because I feel like that was probably the strongest argument to make for keeping it sealed and individual 1 and individual 2 names private, even though they do list the names of their counsel attorneys. But anyway, I forget the quote right now, but it was in the order. It was a quote about again, what I thought was the strongest argument. There was a list of several rulings already. If you don't already know, that happens quite often in whether it in law filings, in law documents and paperwork, is this referencing of past court proceedings. There was this one, Raja Ratnam, insider trading. And it listed 2010, but I started looking him up. He had it was ruled and I'm right in the middle of that, but I just thought it was interesting because of the insider trading. I thought about this yesterday and I didn't review it, but go over it again in my head before making this video. But anyway, I'm just gonna say what I got. But anyway, so insider trading, it was 92 million, and then the civil proceedings was even more than that, and I think it was two different I don't know what you call it, what they owe, but according to Google, my Google research, it was an insider trading situation, and why it's kind of a big deal is because of the use of wiretapping. Excuse me. And the use of wiretapping, I think, set precedent. Precedent was set. I don't know why I think I'm saying that word wrong every time I say it. But anyway, the use of wiretapping, and it says 2010, referenced in that order, Southern District of New York judge's order and opinion, which is not an opinion. It sounds like it's a different kind of opinion than what we say opinion is when we're just talking. Like it's like a law, a rule. It's not like an opinion. This is my opinion. When you're like a judge, it's something completely different. Anyway, but I do want to use this terminology and stuff. Well, why not, right? Uh, anyway, references. I think it's the United States government versus Rajanatnam, or something like that. I think his first name is like Raja something, and his last name is like Raja Ratnam. Insider trading in 2010, the use of wiretapping. However, I started looking on this other website that was really very helpful, and there was stuff going on since like 2013. But basically, he was like, I guess it was the appeal. Maybe if I knew it said who the judge was, and again, this website's very informative, but there was stuff happening in 2013, which I thought was a really big thing because it was dealing with the wiretap issue, right? And what could be admitted and what could be dismissed. I don't know. The lawyers for Rajanatnam was arguing four different arguments. One about the elements, and then the other three were about dismissing the counts against him for insider trading due to the wiretapping. So I only got to 2013. It goes beyond then. But anyway, it's referenced in that order and opinion via, I think, August 2025, about individual 1 and individual 2. And as far as who they are, I don't really know. Like I said, in the unsealed indictment in 2019, it was employer 1 and employee 1 and employee 2. From reading this order, this most recent 2025 order and opinion, it sounds like individual 1 and individual 2. It was weird because it didn't directly state that they were victims of Epstein, but it said that just because there's an investigation, shouldn't have anything to mess with somebody's reputation. So anyway, I was just a bit confused. I think individual 1 and individual 2, it's like potential witnesses maybe. It was kind of a gray area. Said they could very well be victims and stuff like that. And also in 2020, I wanted to print this out, but we ran out of printer paper. My mom and Tracy went to the San Marcos shopping outlets, then they went to Austin, and I was very happy not to go. But I was here and I didn't have printer paper. But some office in Florida in 2020 followed up on the Department of Justice's Epstein stuff. At the time, 2019, office in Florida of like I want to say integrity, but integrity wasn't. I don't think it was in there. But anyway, they have their own report, and I think it's like 14 pages or so, from 2020. I just read the beginning. I didn't read the 14 pages, but it started off by saying there was insufficiencies. My word, not theirs, I think, basically on the part of the Justice Department in investigating this Epstein case, which again, in the unsealed indictment, it's in New York and Florida. Those are the two locations, which is important considering federally a big part of getting federal charges as far as human trafficking and sex trafficking and conspiracy, this traveling on beyond state lines. Um, it is important for that. Um, so I need to read that report. I would like to have it printed out. There are some things where I can print out, and some I use that paper to make notes for other stuff. But there are some things that I just kind of like to have. Okay, I have this on my paper, and then I'll make my notes of whatever other kind of rabbit holes that leads me down. But anyway, so I just thought it was interesting, this insider trading. Obviously something that's uh, you know, um, interesting, especially in as far as the scope. I think a lot of people focus a lot more about Congress, right? The House of Congress, with insider trading, and why wouldn't they? You know, they should be held to a very high standard. Um, uh, why not? Um, especially considering a lot of the times they should just be people like you and me who maybe don't have a lot of access to things. Um, right? But anyway, I just thought that it was interesting considering it was a hedge fund. So this whole Epstein is a financier. Again, I'm still going with that. Yeah. Money is obviously an issue. Obviously. But yeah, I just printed that order and opinion by the Southern District of New York. One is because the name, the judge's name, his last name is the same as the attorney on the unsealed indictment. So I thought that was interesting, and it was something recent about Epstein that I could see on Google. So I went ahead and printed that out, and they did say in 2019 it was unsealed. In 2020 there was supposed to be some sort of like there was a motion to dismiss all charges from the defense, which is Epstein, and then there was also an opportunity for victims to step forward and in the court and say what they wanted to say, and it seems like that was canceled and I guess rescheduled. I don't know when, but it does say in that order and opinion in I think August 2025 that the victims, 23 victims, did take the opportunity in 2025 to say what they wanted to say in court proceedings. So yeah, that's my research. Still going through the law, Title 18. I'm going the sexual abuse, which is like there's different kinds and different amendments, but this sexual conduct and contact, I think is interesting, just the wording of the law. I can't remember the exact wording right now. It's like, if that contact were a sexual act. And I'm just trying to think of like what exactly that means. And what I gathered is, I don't know, like intent maybe? A hug and a kiss could be considered of a sexual nature, but to some people, maybe not. Um, music lyrics, right? You send somebody music lyrics that might not be abusive, sexual contact, right? Uh, Despite, notwithstanding the lyrics in that video, in that song. Um, so yeah, like I said, you got my preamble, but like my preamble, not like an official kind of document preamble. Preamble, like I'm just rambling on, not saying specifics, but yeah, just something like that. I don't know, just throwing that out there. That's kind of where I'm at with that. What else is new? Anything else new? No? Nothing else new? Well, something that I did just want to say real quick. It's 20 minutes, 21 minutes. Something that I did wanted to say real quick is I 100% trust my husband and the First Lady, Melania. Um, and I just want that to be known. Um, just in case I have a reaction to things, there's a lot of moving parts, um, obviously. Except me, I'm not really moving. I'm here. That box is there. Okay. But there's a lot of moving parts, and I realize there could be room for some talk about like transparency in my comments on X. I say that because I see a lot of times news, whether it be a Democrat or Republican, is they post a lot of tweets. And why not? It's the public square conversation, right? So anyway, I 100% trust them. And we all know what's going on. I'm not confused. I just don't like this disrespect angle, right? What is it you know, and how is it you've conducted yourself? This here this week has been kind of tough for me because they've really pushed this. I'm not a celebrity and public figure. This being close to me, living in houses, the comings and goings of 9107, and then when I'm over at Kimmy's, it's really obvious to me. But they're really pushing this. They have a card to play, right? At least in my immediate surroundings, obviously, right? They have a card to play, and they're going to play it, which is, I'm not a public figure and celebrity. Nobody knows who I am. There's never been a live stream. Nobody around me knows that there's been a live stream. And that's how they conduct themselves towards me. That's my opinion. Not as a judge, it's my opinion. So they've really pushed it hard this week, and that's the card that they have to play, and they're going to play it. I've said repeatedly this past over 4.5 years now, you know, how many degrees do you have? How much of a handicap do you need? I don't know what's been going on this week in the public square. That is the internet, that is the news, I don't know. All of which I don't see. If it's pertaining to me and my reputation, especially as a celebrity and public figure, I don't get to see it. That information is intentionally kept from me. Okay? There's no just off chance here. That's my opinion. But this there's certain people where it's just like Caroline Leavitt, for instance. You're press secretary. You're in politics. Obviously, I can talk to you via Twitter, via YouTube video. Um, obviously, that's not against the law to do so. But there are certain things where I just know certain, what do people know, when do they know it, and how do they conduct themselves knowing this, and how do they view and see what's going on. I mean, who would want to participate in keeping me here like this, right? And then calling me the problem. Doesn't make any sense. Was anybody confused about in October 2021 my stay at University Health Hospital? Were there any AI images of disputing that I was at University Health Hospital in October of 2021? No? Isn't that weird? Isn't that convenient and comfortable? I'm very proud of what I've done and what I've been able to accomplish, considering everything that I've been up against and been facing. It's hard enough what I've been doing, and then to have this kind of unseen, unnamed, unfaced opposition towards me these past minimum 4.5 years. Which is why I didn't go with my mom and Tracy to Austin. I don't want to go there. I'll go there to tour a museum. I'm not going to go there to visit Aunt Pat and Aunt Joyce. Okay? So, and again, part of been in discussion of why I got sent there is because my treatment towards those family members. You knew I was on a live stream? You never even talked about it with me. Never. And now I can't see any of their social media platforms. At least on Instagram. I don't know my Facebook password. But anyway, my point is, I digress. But my point is, there's certain people who know certain things, and when they say stuff, because it's their job to do so. Obviously, I'm going to have some comments. I know, you know that I know exactly what you're doing. Simple as that. So, I don't like that disrespect. I know there could be room for that as far as 47 and the First Lady goes. I think 47 is the ultimate gentleman, and willing to sacrifice a lot. And as far as a team and a duo, I think they're very smart and courageous and brave. So, and being able to do all those things in a very public view, right? I think is, all the more. I don't want to detract anybody who's doing things that aren't in the public view, but I'm just saying it is an added element. As far as representation goes and all that. So, I just don't want my comments to get misconstrued, okay? Caroline Leavitt has just informed the White House press corps that Halloween, October 31st, the President and First Lady will be handing out trick-or-treating candy or something like that. And she's very much looking forward to it. Carolina Levitt. So, considering what's been going on this week, like I said, my mom and Tracy went to Austin to go visit my mom's two sisters who live in Austin. And again, if it has anything to do with me, especially being a celebrity and public figure, I know how ridiculous this may sound to y'all. Trust me, I know. Okay? They can't stand it. That's how they lived minimum 8 years before January 2021, and this entirety of these over 4.5 years, almost 5 years now, since January 2021. It's sick. Okay? It's not okay. And this is what I said almost 5 years ago. This is, this barrier of Democrat versus Republican, I think, is very interesting, especially considering Trump, especially considering 47 Trump, right? 45 and 47 is able to reach across party lines, something that's not really emphasized too much, especially from the press secretary. But this Democrats versus Republicans, that I'm wondering, where would Clown Gabbard be if I didn't turn Republican, if I didn't change my political party affiliation? Where would she even be? Would that even be an opportunity for Clown Gabbard to have done if I didn't do it first? This 100% need lifestyle mode of living that absolutely rejects this I'm a celebrity and public figure, something I can see, is just something that they do. They're crazy about, okay? There's a lot of details, but it's my opinion, and trust me when I say my opinion. This is about making money? No, it's not. Okay? It's just not. That might be a side benefit, but this is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, I don't see it. And my opinion is part of the reason I don't see it is because there are people out there that absolutely cannot handle if it is acknowledged to me, especially in a way that maybe I can put on my phone where I'm walking out in public, or dare I say I see myself on the news. I see a Google article about me. I see myself in People magazine. They just go crazy, okay? They just do. But anyway, it is what it is. I've never been to Korea. My grandfather's been to Korea. And as the press secretary has said, it is a long flight. So yeah, I just wanted to say, I guess, give an update on the Epstein research. I did want to emphasize this. I trust them completely. When I get mad at something, this is this Republican-Democrat divide. I can understand it a lot of times when you're talking about politicians specifically, but if you're talking about just the I say voter, excluding the politicians, a lot of the times people can be swayed. People can listen to logic and reason and stuff like that. It's this illogical and unreasonable stuff that I think voters turn away from. And they just happen to be affiliated with a certain political party. Anyway, and as far as far as all that goes, why can't I use my platform to in the way that I want to, especially politically? Seems to be an issue and problem. But yeah, with all that being said, I just wanted to say unequivocally, I 100% support, trust the duo that is 47 and the First Lady. I realize as a Republican and conservative, this might be a bit surprising, but if you've been keeping up with me and, dare I say, 47, then maybe it's not surprising at all. This is very unfair and unjust, what's going on here. Not one interview, not one paycheck, not nothing. Okay? And then I got sent to the psych ward because of my behavior in this neighborhood and my comments on social media towards certain family members of mine in 2021. But anyway, I just wanted to say that and clear that up. Okay. It's getting kind of hot out here. I don't really have any plans, especially till Halloween, obviously. Caroline Levitt just stated that yesterday. I think she has a press conference once a week now. I don't know. That's how you know politics are going slow. But yeah, this Democrat-Republican divide is something that since I've been listening to 45, has something that's been quite interesting to me, and something, again, living in San Antonio, Texas, there's a lot of Republicans around me. There's people can say stuff on the news, and before January 2021, I would just simply go out and experience the regular Republican voter, non-politician, in real time, in real life, and so I can base my opinions on that as well. But yeah, as far as this, I get what I'm saying. I think people sometimes, especially certain Republican assets of an administration, maybe even the previous one, a Democrat, this taking advantage of this Democrat-Republican label, which I think is ill-advised, especially with 47, considering that there are a lot of independent voters who did vote Republican. To say it like that, to describe things like that. But as far as conservatism goes and the stereotype of that, I could always just say, well, have you looked in a mirror? What is so conservative about you? Okay? Other than Trump. Anyway, this video's about to end. Y'all have a good one. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend. I'll be painting and researching until after Halloween.